I made more millionaires than any person in history. There's no question. From my YouTube channel, uh, people all the time
Hang on.
reach out.
In history or crypto history? Let's clarify. Episode 4, Heavy Bagz, the BitBoy, Ben Armstrong. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Excited. Train for my fight. Doing it this morning.
When is the fight?
December 6th,
In?
Dubai.
Okay. Is this second time fighting in Dubai?
And this is my first time fighting in Dubai. I did Mexico City and London, so
Okay, gotcha. Have you been to Dubai yet or no?
I've been a couple times.
Okay. All right, yeah, well, good. So it's you and Ansem. There's a
Mhm.
slight reach advantage, slight height advantage there. How you
Yeah,
feeling?
slight. Well, I gotta say, he's much taller than I even thought he was. When you meet him in real life and you're looking up at him, it definitely is a little intimidating. Is not the right word. You just, wow, he's really tall up there. So I think that, for me in the fight, it's just very simple. Don't want him to use his reach and length against me. So I'm training for ways to get around that. And I don't have any question in my mind that I'm going to be able to do that and I'm going to win this fight. And of course, Andrew Tate and Daddy Coin is sponsoring me. So he's told me that he will pay me $100,000 extra if I knock Ansem out. So I've been training for the knockout shot. So I hope he knows it's coming. He does, I think.
Did you learn anything off of watching him and Barney?
I learned a lot of things about him. Yeah, I didn't learn anything about fighting. I tell you, it just Barney had a lot of good shots in that, and Barney's a decent fighter. He's better than most for sure
Yeah.
that have tried this, and he needs to. He's going to have another chance to prove himself. Of course, he got that really unlucky incident where he got in karate combat he dislocated his shoulder. I think sprained his shoulder, did something like that in the first 17 seconds. Got drug into the wall and that was it. I think he's going to have another opportunity one day to kind of get out there and show that he's a good fighter. And every time you see some of these people fight, like you watch them progress too, and how much better they get and have gone along. And Barney, everybody's telling me I'm going to win, and I do believe I'm going to win. And it's like a foregone conclusion that I'm the winner. Like, oh, BitBoy's going to tear him up, and I see all that stuff. And like, do I feel confident? Yes, but people have to remember, like, Barney's a tough dude, and Barney's a good puncher, and Ansem took every single one of those. The ref stopped it because Ansem was just standing there, but he was still standing there and laughing the whole time. So he definitely took a lot of big shots and kept standing. And with him having a big size advantage over me, I can't go into this thinking I'm crowned the winner. And I've trained much harder for this one than any other fight because every time I go in, I want to be better because I know my opponent's going to be better than the last time they were as well. I don't expect Ansem to do, the stupid stuff he was doing where he never guarded his never guarded this side the entire time, left it wide open. And of course, kind of like, did this a lot and things like that. He could throw this shot here, the old volleyball serve. And, he has some of that stuff he can throw. If he connected with one good volleyball serve right on my nose or right on my jaw, like who knows what could happen. So I'm going in just knowing that he can throw shots and I'm going to respect those shots until he proves me that I don't have, until I prove that I don't have to respect him, then I'll give it to him full brow. So,
Yeah. I love the fighting crossover that's kind of happened to CT. That's pretty much where my whole business has gone. I mean, we're launching Dirty Boxing Championship this Saturday night in Miami, first professional card. We have like gone way down the rabbit hole with the fight game. So it's really cool to me to watch like CT step up and fight each other, whether it's in karate combat, whether it's in CFN. It's just fun stuff to watch, man.
yeah.
And obviously, look, it's not the prettiest fights, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's fun to see people that you kind of, here's the thing with being an online personality, people feel like they know you, right? They don't, but they feel like they do. So it does get people excited, like, oh, I know this guy, I interact with this guy on a daily basis. It makes it more exciting for a lot of these people than say a professional fight where they don't even know who half these guys are. So
Yeah.
it's cool to watch.
It is. And, it's funny is that when I met you in person, it was right after you had just done a fight.
Yep.
Yeah, you were telling me about it, and I was thinking, man, I sure would love to get in the ring one day. I know your brother was
I think
nonstop
you
talking about
I
it.
think you threatened to box me about 6 times that night. And I'm like, hang tight,
I was
hang
ready to go
tight.
with Gainsey. I wanted Gainsey so bad, but I know
I think
he
it was
definitely
game.
knows he doesn't want any now. So, but I think I was thinking about it the other day because I was really thinking is the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight came up and thinking about influencer fighting and how like look we owe these guys a big a lot of gratitude for opening this up for people like me and other influencers to be able to fight and pursue this and make money this way and kind of prove to the world that we're not just crypto nerds or whatever it is and I think that I was looking back at the transition of how this all started like TikTok. There was like a TikTok boxing event one time, and of course we had the one with Jake Paul and Ben Askren when all those guys started. And it's just really interesting. We moved to this place where there's moving to a bit of a gray area here where if I had started young enough, like I don't know how far I could have gone in this. Obviously I can't. I'm 42. I'm not going to be able to be a serious professional fighter. Like I get it. If I was 25, I'd think about it like Jake Paul. And so I think that it's really cool that we have this opportunity. And when you look at our space, there's a reason why we are outside of like just the mainstream influencers like the Paul brothers and those guys. Outside of that, there's no other group that people want to watch fight more than us. I am not doing super great financially anymore. Hopefully, I will be, here pretty soon as this bull run kicks off. But the point is, it's kind of like the F1 of fighting, right? It's all the rich people. Like all the rich people are coming there to fight, and all the rich people are coming there to bet on the fight. All the rich people are watching the fight. They're betting online on the fight, whether it's Polymarket or whatever. And it's just really interesting because you don't see other industries like this. Like, is there? I don't think there's like a fitness YouTuber fighting thing. Guys doing jazzercise and then trying to
Not that
fight.
I
I
know
don't
of.
know. I don't think there's
I
a
mean,
Beanie Baby collector YouTuber.
political sphere would probably be the only bigger group like on Twitter, to be
Right.
honest. And
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything like that.
Exactly.
I'll just say this. I took 200 or 250K off of Z's boys against Barney. So if y'all want to run it again, I might take Ben. Just remember.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right,
I'm well looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
let's jump into this because you've had a long career. You've had a crazy kind of up and down career. I feel like you're on your comeback arc. And honestly, I think the fighting aspect of it has a lot to do with it. To be
Hmm.
honest, in my mind, I think a lot of people are like, all right, this dude's like way different than I thought he was. And you're starting to gain a lot of respect, I think, from people maybe that didn't respect you before.
Yeah.
So how did you get off into this? Because you had the biggest YouTube channel in the world,
Yeah.
like for crypto. Like, how did you get your start? How did you grow that into an empire? And then I guess, how the fuck did you lose it?
Well, it's very important for people to understand. I have not lost it. We are in intense litigation. I can't really talk about it, but I'm just going to tell everybody we're going to win. Eventually, the real story will be out, and the good guys win, and the bad guys go away. That's what happens in stories like this. And of course, in a civil litigation, even though it is a RICO, it's a RICO civil litigation. Um, this doesn't mean it's criminal, but a lot of criminal activities are uncovered, and then after the suit is over, then it goes criminal. And there's no doubt in my mind that that is what we're going to see in this case. It may take a year, it may take 6 months, it may take two years. But the important thing to remember is that a long time ago, somebody, or not even a long time ago, but a few months ago, somebody told me something. They said, "Look, it's not important how fast you win. It's not nearly as important as you win." And I realized I just had to kind of buckle down for a longer fight here than I want because, at the end of the day, when people find out everything that happened, they're gonna be like, how did this go on for this long? But we are now in the legal proceedings, and this is the way that this has to play out. I'm not a person who, likes to take things slow, and I'm not a person that is very patient. And I've been learning a lot of that through fighting and through this. And, obviously I went from having 12,000 subscribers to 1.5 million 18 months later, and it was the craziest explosion crypto had ever seen in terms of numbers. I went from out of nowhere, and a lot of people in the crypto space knew me because I've been around for a while, but my content wasn't good. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have enough command of my subject yet. I wasn't a master of crypto yet, and it took me a while to get there. And once I got there, it was really easy. And look, people go and shoot down and say, "Oh, you did this coin in this year, and look at it. What are you doing?" Yeah, go look at all those coins in the first 1 to 3 months to 6 months after we covered them, and almost all of them were up or had massive gains or had gains. Some of them massive, and over time in this industry, like, look, if you had told people to buy Peloton in 2021, like I did, man, that's bad advice. But if you had told people to buy Peloton back in like 2017, it's good advice. And so the time thing kind of matters when it is a space when we're telling people what to buy. And it's kind of like, we're full of a bunch of big thinkers here in crypto. And, so people that just come and float in and out of our space, they look at all this in a vacuum. And so obviously there were some coins that didn't do that well. And there were some coins that I covered that they did some bad things. And, I was unbeknownst to a place that was trying to scam people, that was trying to pay me to cover their coin. We do research, and my head researcher over there is in on it with these guys now, I come to realize. So, what really was being fed to me. But the long and short of it is, even despite all that, I made more millionaires than any person in history. There's no question. From my YouTube channel, uh, people all the
Hang on,
time
hang on.
reach out.
In
Yeah,
history or crypto history? Let's clarify.
I think in history, when you
Oh
look
my.
at the
Okay.
when you think about this, think about the explosion of inflation and what it means to be a millionaire today compared to a much longer time ago. It was much harder to get to a million. So many people got to $1 million in the last bull run because of crypto. And I was the number one way they all came in the space. Not everyone, I say all, not everyone, but a large percentage. If they didn't come in through me, it's because they didn't like me. They just saw me and they didn't like me. It wasn't because they didn't find me. I was everywhere during that time. It was just because we had amazing momentum and because I picked so many great coins. I mean, we were telling people to get in Solana when it was less than $1. We were telling people to get in Cardano when it was a nickel. We were telling people to get in, and I say we, I was telling people just like I told people to get in Sweet, when it was at 20 cents. So, I've just always had this knack. It's like, I just feel like the bull market kind of runs through my veins, and I just really thrive in this time because I know what people are looking for. And I
Are you a bull
also
market
know,
trader? Are you a bull market trader?
yeah, absolutely.
You say that,
Yeah,
yeah, because
yeah,
like there's a lot of guys that try to trade both ways too frequently and get eaten alive before the bull
I do.
market
Yeah.
comes. But I think
Mhm.
there are, like there are some spectacular bull market traders out there. Rookie is one of them.
Yeah.
Main is one of them. I would say you're one of them.
I
I
turned I
think
turned I turned $80,000 into a million on Bybit in a month and 7 days, live on the channel last bull run. You know?
and then now with the especially with the Solana trenches, right? Like that's a whole nother fucking beast.
Oh yeah.
You're seeing guys, and look, what people need to fully understand here is it's 0.1% guys that are doing this, but they're flipping 5 grand, 10 grand into 7, 8 figures. And it's happening on a somewhat frequent basis, but people need to fully understand it's fucking 0.1%,
Yeah.
and I want to hit on the point that you had earlier, like it is all about timing because if you look at bull cycles within crypto, essentially everything heads back fucking 90% retrace every time. So it's
Mm-hmm.
all about timing, right? It's every single token. I don't give a shit. Look at Bitcoin. It went to 3,000. If Arthur didn't turn on the circuit breakers, we were probably headed to fucking
You
zero
remember,
and the
man?
industry was done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a handful of years ago,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I think that when you look at how far the industry has come, it's really interesting. And when you look at Bitcoin, though, the one thing I would say is the drawdowns get less, and the bull markets, the gains get lower. And so that's why I believe we're looking at between 140 and 160,000 for this bull run. It's 3x from the bottom, and it's a little over 2x from the all-time high, the previous all-time high at 70K, somewhere in that range. And I think it makes a lot of sense because it's more of an institutional game now. And those are numbers that the institutions love. 3x, come on. So, and you saw how they all set us up and then rug pulled us twice, once after the ETF, like maybe it was like in January or something. And then, then again, they did it after the halving, just absolutely crushed the numbers again. And that was the institutions. And meanwhile, by the way, did you see the whole time they were taking money and putting in gold as it was skyrocketing? That's how they work. And so, I think that when you look at just the type of projects, it's important to understand that there are projects that are going to be around. And I think there are going to be projects that are going to break away from the 4-year cycle. And I think that one of those is potentially XRP. I think you look at coins like Ondo and Pith as well, potential, maybe Filecoin. You look at projects that have big institutional interest, and you look at projects that have staying power, have fought through, some have fought through some adversity. Obviously, Ondo has got BlackRock coming behind them. Things that lend themselves to traditional finance, right? Ondo and Pith, tokenization, RWA, traditional finance. They're going to put more money on the blockchain than we have in crypto market cap by a lot. So that tells you where everything's going. And of course, XRP being in the middle with their real USD stablecoin in between kind of BRICS and the West. I think it's a very interesting position for them to be in, as USDC and USDT are kind of split, and they've got a lot of opportunity there in the middle, along with everything else they're doing. So I think that is important to watch. Is that some of these ones that lend themselves traditionally to TradFi, think about maybe those could be moving more that direction, because there is a thing that is very interesting. I have a guy I talk to, and a guy I talk to, and he gives me a lot of information and a lot of insight on a lot of things. And recently, I've been saying that I thought the meme coins were going to die. I thought, now look, not completely. You certainly would have some meme coins, but when you look at the corner of the meme coin world, there's just so much money that crypto influencers make in that world, and there's so much money that degens make in that world, that don't you think that the TradFi is looking at that saying, man, what's that with? How many billion market cap? Think we want some of that. Oh, we want our guys advertising that. We don't want these crypto guys on YouTube doing it, right? That's why I'm moving more TradFi, or more holistic, I guess, finance, I would say. But the point is that, you know, when
So
you,
are you on board with the Murad? Because you said you thought meme coins were going to die. They haven't, right? I was in the same boat. Like now we're sitting
yeah,
here at almost 100,000 Bitcoin. I thought all the meme coins were just going to be fucking toast by now,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
But
no, no.
they're not. It's
I
almost
mean,
like they're
I
getting
think,
stronger.
I think, no. What I was saying is, I'm not in this cycle. They're going to crush. Like
Yeah.
that's not in my. I'm not talking about this cycle. This cycle, it will continue to crush. I'm talking about, is there a next cycle for meme coins? We do have regulation coming and crackdowns on meme coins. They are coming 100%. I know it unequivocally. There will be examples made, is what I will say. However, that is going to be the same thing that the SEC did in the other industries, where it's basically going to choose the winners and tell you which ones, aren't important. That's kind of what they do when they give them the vote of confidence. Here's what I don't think we'll see. I don't think we'll see a world where people continue to be able to launch meme coins and make millions of dollars in a decentralized way where the government can't see it at all. I don't think that that's going to be a thing, period. And so, once we really move to CBDCs, there's going to be very easy ways to probably track all that. But for now, it's very difficult. And so I think here's the point. So my guy, he told me, he said, you're wrong about what you're saying. You're wrong when you're saying that meme coins are going to die. I was like, fascinated by this. Really, he told me you get this big crackdown coming. He's like, yeah, but now that crypto is part of finance, meme coins, that's our penny stocks, or pink stocks, I think maybe they
Yep.
call them as well.
Yeah. Pink sheets.
That is our. There always needs to be extremely risky investment opportunities, because there's always a portion that will end up there, and that unequivocally is what meme coins are going to become. And so they're going to be here. They're going to be. I don't know how much the space will grow in numbers, because everybody kind of already knows about meme coins that would be here, I think. I don't know how many more people will come in this bull run, but what I do believe is that we're just going to see a split of projects that head the investment, the risky investment meme coin way, or head the long-term legitimacy way. And there's going to be not a lot in the middle. There's not going to be a lot in the middle, in my opinion. I think that we will eventually see that big cleanse of coins, because we just won't need them all. The winners will be chosen, and the riskier ones, that they will, still continue to thrive, and people can make a lot of money over there, but it's really risky, and you'll probably lose money too.
Give me your prediction and I'll give you mine. When do you think, when do you think Bitcoin tops? We'll call that the top of the market.
Mhm.
Now it could still drag on for plenty of time after, right?
Mhm.
When do you think Bitcoin tops and what do you think that rough number is?
Look, I'm going April Fool's Day. I said it for a year. I think April Fool's Day is probably the top. And I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see another kind of double cycle. Like, because I mean, if you think about it now at this point, I've been here for every single bull run. So we got 2013, 2014, we got 2017, and one, week of 2018. And then you have, 2020 to 2021. And now we're heading into this new one. And, when you look back at each of these bull runs, we've had, this is the fourth one, right? We've had three. So two of them were double tops. Like now we've
Yep.
actually got to where the 2017 was the outlier. So when you have that way of thinking, and you look at what we've seen, I think a very reasonable possibility is we peak around $140,000. I'd say 145 or something to be safe, because it'll probably go up a little bit more. But I think you're going to see $145,000, and then you're going to see it come back down all the way, probably to maybe 100, wherever it's going to be, and then it's going to start the climb back up. And then end of September, end of quarter three, people are expecting a bullish October again, because man, we're going to get quarter four. Here we go. And it doesn't even reach new all-time highs on the second one. It goes back up to about 125, 35, somewhere thereabouts, and then goes back down. And it still allows us to have two giant windows of money-making opportunities. Just because it's not going to, in my opinion, maybe it doesn't peak out on the second time. Right? They always rhyme, right? It makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. We've never seen that before,
Yeah.
but we almost saw it last time. We didn't. I think this is all controlled. Nobody. It's not us out here investing. I mean, there's big fish out there that control all this, and they always try to make it look normal, but they always try to fake you out just enough to give them the edge. So
Yeah. I feel like we go a lot higher, to be honest. I feel like we go like 250 ish. I just see so much institutional money still sidelined, that's going to end up getting in the game. Even if they're saying they're not getting in the game, they're going to get in the game before it's all over. But I could see us easily right here in this range where we're at like 90. I could see us hit 100, maybe even go a little bit higher just to get people sucked in, and then drop us all the way back down to like retest like that 70 range and just fucking piss down everybody's leg, get them
yeah.
freaking out, and then resend again, like, sometime in like maybe Q1, Q2 next year. Because here's the thing. You and I have both been, we'll talk about this in a second. You and I have both been very outspoken, supportive Trump guys.
Mhm.
So we've both been kind of like focused on that over the last several months. But I think the regulation that he puts in place, it's not going to come. You and I talked about this on a space the other day. It's not coming week one, right? Like it's
Right.
not a main focus, right? We need to clear out the fucking FBI. We need to fix, all of the spending issues, but it's going to come within the first, I think, 6 months of the year of the administration. And I think that's going to be a very bullish catalyst for bringing back innovation. From everybody I've talked to, from Don Jr. to Kim to a lot of people with inside the transition team, like it is a high priority to bring these people back to the U.S. and to come up with regulation that's friendly, for builders. So I think that will be a secondary catalyst at some point during next year.
Yeah, look. I think for me, I have like uh, I have a very specific set of things that I believe are going to happen, and it doesn't necessarily mean like I'm going to call shots that every single thing is going to happen that I say it is. But what I mean by that is I believe that Trump's going to have a lot more problems because he's going to have a lot of people in his cabinet that are going to be made to be there that he's not going to even want there. They're going to be people that are pretending to be on his side. They're going to do the same thing they did to him last time. It's just the way politics works. And there's a 0% chance that they're going to be able to keep these people out of the cabinet, because the other side will be, the other side, what they do is they force you to choose some of the people that you kind of have to be like, "Ugh, okay, I can live with this person." And that way they will give you a vote and let one of your people that you really want in. And it's just a game of back and forth. And it's going to be fought more than ever now that we out the Republicans, whatever. I don't really claim to be either side anymore. I'm myself. But the point is that when it comes to either side of the political party, um, I just think that they're going to continue to fight and be kind of the same way. And it's not going to go away just because we had a decisive victory. And the game of politics is so much bigger than the game of who are you going to vote for. I think that there are people pulling the strings that are much higher up, and some of these people are very close to Trump, and some of these people, they even though, like, once again, remember what I just said about the political thing, you got to give and take. Even the people at the very top have to give and take. It's always punishments and rewards. The entire world is ran off of a system of punishments and rewards. And if you're not getting offered punishments or rewards, or being given punishments or offered rewards, then you're not important. Like, you don't play into kind of the larger kind of political schema, which most people don't. I understand, but the thing is that um, you have to play both sides to get things across the finish line, and that's not going to change. There's bad people at the top. There's some good people at the top, but in any case, it's. I just think we're fooling ourselves. We just think anything's going to be easy, and that this bull run is not. I just think it's going to do the same thing that it usually does, because that's what the markets tell us it does. Like, there's a reason why the stock market flows with it, and it's every 4 years, and it's on the presidential election cycle. Like, it's the easiest time to make it all look like this so they can pump all the money. And that's really how it all works, because the most powerful organization in the world is the Bank of International Settlements. It's not even close. Outside of the families at the top, it's literally the banking financial infrastructure that controls everything. It's not the political parties. The Federal Reserve controls things. That was created by corporations, like with a front man of a politician that didn't even do anything but just speak well. And that's how they got the big monopoly scam that's the Federal Reserve in. And I just think that we get distracted sometimes, I believe. I just know that when Trump won the first time, I got really distracted. When Trump won the first time, I thought, oh, here we go. Man, finally things are changing. But then the next 4 years, man, they were worse than the 4 years before Trump, weren't they? Whoa, they were the worst 4 years I think we've ever had for most of us in the United States. 9/11 was a bad year, obviously. But outside of that, for different reasons, like, man, this has not been a good year for the United States in so many different ways. And I think that really this is the beginning of a rebuild of our nation. And I think Trump is definitely the person who I would want in there more than anybody else doing it. But I think we're in a rebuild right now. I don't think we're trying to stay at the top anymore. I think those days are gone. I think I'm the most American patriotic person you can imagine in the world. Trust I went into the Air Force when I was younger. It's a long story. But I made it to the last day of boot camp. They told me that I failed my drug test for weed the first day I got there, and ended up having to leave and not get my airman's coin the next day. But I wanted to serve the country. It wasn't like I wanted to serve the country. I love America, and I don't love what it's become. None of us love what it's become, and it's more comprehensive than just one party versus the other party. There are quality of life things that we look around in this nation. When you go to Target and everything is behind, it's because they know that there might be civil distress coming. That's why they put everything behind. It's not because they think they're getting robbed soon. It's because they're worried about riots, and they're worried about looting and things like that. They want everything to be a challenge to get to inside of a store. And you look at Amazon, right? Amazon used to deliver they were there the same morning sometimes when you ordered every time. It's like you're having to wait a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. It's the things like that in this country that are lowering our quality of life. Used to think everything's going to be open 7 days a week. Banks are going to be open 7 days a week. Everything's 24/7. To Walmart closes at 10:30 now. You can't go get dog food in the middle of the night unless you go to a Quick Trip or a gas station that has a big grocery side or something. Like, they're the little things that we haven't been noticing that have been eating away, that were things that were just little edges that we had on quality of life that we don't have anymore. And I still believe that even if we're rebuilding this country, I believe that it still is a much considerably higher quality of life than anywhere else in the world by a million miles. There's nowhere else. After being around the world, I love the other places, love visiting, but man, there's no place that gives me comfort like the United
I mean,
States.
I've talked to so many expats at this point because now, of course, there's all these rumors about, well, if companies build in the U.S., from the crypto side, there won't be, capital
Hmm.
gains and tax implications. I've talked to so many expats have hit me, asking me what I'm hearing behind the scenes
Yeah.
because so many want to move back and they're in places like Dubai and
Hmm.
Hong Kong and Singapore, which when we see on television, right, it's like, oh my God, those places are amazing. But yet, I've got so many people in my DMs that are like, let us know as soon as you fucking hear anything because they all want to come back to the US.
Yeah.
They all
Well, I
want to. They're
think
like the lifestyle is better, the entertainment is better. The living. I can live in Florida on the beach. I can live in Cali on the beach. I can live in New York and Manhattan. Like, it's just a better style of life.
I think that the quality of life. Look, it may be different if you're not American. If you're not American, if you didn't grow up here, maybe you grew up hating the country or something. Maybe it's not like that for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you never felt comfortable here, but not you. I mean, you generally, a person listening or watching. I think that when you look at it that way, and um, you think about how. Let me rephrase. This is a good way to say this. I lost my train of thought for a second. The quality of life is so good here that when we go other places, we can't find anywhere else. There's nowhere else that you can go that you will feel completely comfortable in with the little bitty things of the quality of life. The regulation here, we hate it. I went down to El Salvador, or not El Salvador, Honduras. I was driving down the road with a guy. I said, what is that? He said, oh, there's a mountain up there. He said, there's houses. They fell down the mountain, and there's like 9 houses, like big stone houses, like laying at the bottom of the hill. I said, oh my gosh, that just happened. He said, no, it happened like 15 years ago. It's like on the side of the road, the big road there. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Like you would never see that. We complain about that stuff here, but you come here and you look at your HOA. I hate HOA too, but you look at our green spaces. You look at the roadways, the interstates, how they're nicely cut most of the time, and it's like those things you really, really, really come to appreciate when you go to other countries. And like it's even the mall. Like I want to talk about Singapore real quick. I really enjoyed Singapore. I like Singapore. I had a good experience there. I actually do like Singapore. I don't know, maybe a little better than Dubai. But the thing is that when I went to Singapore and we went to where they had the karate combat event and the conference at, you know, I went to the food court there. It was a big food court. It was a big mall, desire mall. There was not one place there I could eat. Not one place. Like it looked kind of like I don't want to say this, or like it looked like everything was like just an open market in there. Like they're all kind of open market. It wasn't like like an outdoor market. It was like a food court that was like everybody was grilling stuff. It wasn't like, hey, where's my one American place where I can get some food, or a place that just had rice and like something that looked like, I don't know, sesame chicken or something. Because that's the generic stuff that I like. And I can't find comfort in a place like that. London, I really like. I enjoy London a lot. It's probably the closest to America, but man, there's a lot of things in there. The driving on the other side of the road, my gosh. So, anyways, I just, this country's great. And I really am focused on educating people on what's really happening in this country so people will wake up because we have let this country get to where it is by the dumbing down of America and the constant waves of manipulation by the media. Social media algorithms have been pumping stuff into us for years and years and years, destroying our children, destroying our privacy. And, I think that it really is a thing where for us in America, as men in America, especially, women have their own fight, but as men, we have to stand up for this country. And it doesn't mean anymore, I think, going and signing up for the military. It may, if you want to do your service, certainly go do your service. But now service is knowing the truth and telling people what's happening because we have to wake people up. When America put sanctions, when Joe Biden put sanctions on Russia, that effectively ended our stint as the world power. Certainly, there have been times in history where there's multiple ones. And I think BRICS is like kind of a decentralized world power we're going to be looking at. But it's not too late for us to rise up, not to revolt, to rise up and educate people so they can get out of this. So maybe we can keep our way of life, we can keep our quality of living here at least relatively close to where it is, and we don't have to go in total Armageddon apocalypse. And I do believe there are some scenarios where that does happen. But if there is a lot of civil unrest in America, as we do go through this time, where over the next couple of years, where I think we're going to see some really interesting things happen in the financial markets in the world and things like that. the way America reacts to a lot of stuff could determine, kind of the direction of where things are going. And I think that we really have to be cognizant of people trying to draw us into things. And, I think that Donald Trump is a guy who certainly is a strong leader, and we got to be really careful not to get drawn into something,
Yeah.
because that is something that I think this president has some potential to get. What's the word I'm looking for? Somebody could take that thing where he's aggressive, wants to stand up for the country, and they can use that. And it's always coming down to money. It doesn't necessarily have to be because they want to hurt somebody.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic over the next 4 years and for the future of the country. I was very pessimistic 6 months ago. I was in that spot, and when people were like, "Why are you so outspoken about Trump?" It's not just the crypto side. Of course, that's how I make my livelihood. But if crypto falls apart tomorrow, I'll be fine. I can go find something else to do and make money. I'm not as concerned about that. It excites me because I think, wow, like something I got into full time like 7 years ago is kind of like being proven right, right? And I get to sit here and be like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I was a tiny little part of this
it's
as
cool.
as it came back to the U.S., which is cool, right?
Mhm.
But my main thing was more of like, we got to get rid of the wokeism. Like I'm a dad.
Yeah,
I've got two little girls. I've got a son. I've got a wife that I take care of. And I look around the world, around the U.S., and it scared the fuck out of me. And
yeah.
I'm like, we're sitting here, they're touching our kids without parental, consent, and just going way down this wacky road of leftism. And I feel like if this election hadn't have gone the way it did, that we would have been in a majorly bad spot, and probably the end times of America, to be honest. But I feel like we've got optimism again,
Yeah.
and I feel like Trump is putting the right people in place. Just look at what Elon's done, just from a censorship standpoint, since he
That's
bought
his crypto
Twitter.
guy. That's his
What
crypto
a huge
advisor.
fucking
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. That's a crypto advisor. That's the guy who's talking crypto to. But look, I think I want to be very clear here. I'm very optimistic about our future with Donald Trump over what we were going to have potentially. I actually never. I kept telling people like she can win, and things really shifted our way like towards the end for sure. But I mean, look, you go back 4 or 5 months. That debate she had that they said she did good on, like she looked like okay, some momentum. I never in my brain with just how I see everything going and everything that I've been told about the directions things are going. Look, she could have won. It wouldn't have stopped anything. It wouldn't have stopped any of this of the large scale plans that are coming, like tokenization or, eventually they're going to get rid of, probably get rid of the IRS. Eventually, something like that's going to happen. CBD, the CBDC is so important because that ties into the IRS stuff. But the big stuff is going to happen. Crypto legislation, crypto being favorable, the SEC going more bullish. That stuff was all going to happen even if she won. Those are going to be things that were going to kind of be out of their purview because the world has spoken. But that doesn't mean that it's not much, 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 much more mega bullish now that he has won. And I think that certainly if she had won, there was a chance that this was going to go very bad for a lot of us. I think that what I'm saying is, it's kind of like this. Is like, okay, you're a sports guy, right? You like sports, football games, you get a team that gets down, to the very end, and it's a one touchdown game. Like the other team is not going to just roll over and die. Like nobody is going to just roll over and die here and let the other team win. The thing is, I remember several games I could go. I could go to several games where my heart was broken. I'd go to the Super Bowl for one, but I will go to a Philadelphia Eagles playoff game that the Falcons were in. We got crushed yesterday, but anyways, we were in a game versus Nick Folk the year he won the uh, Super Bowl. The Eagles won the Super Bowl this year, and we had the ball first and goal at like the 9 yard line or 11 yard line, whatever. We got Julio Jones, all these great players. We're gonna score for sure. You know how optimistic the team felt, man. That people that everybody have been like, man, they've got to catch a touchdown on this pass right here. They're very optimistic, and they got so optimistic that we never scored. We assumed we were gonna get in it, but we never did because the other team they kept fighting, and we didn't get in, and we got a little optimistic too early. It doesn't mean we shouldn't be optimistic. What it means is the game is not over. The game is still thriving right now. The direction of where things are going. has not been 100% determined, and there are roles to play that people have. And I think that when we say like, just think like, here we go. This is how you lose midterm elections. You lose midterm elections by celebrating the first 2 years. And I just don't want to do that because I've seen that happen so many times. We're in such a pivotal time where so much of politics, it drives the public sentiment. It drives the public sentiment, and they kind of feed off of each other. And right now, like everything's happening, but man, you just wait until this thing gets going. It won't
Yeah.
be too long, and you'll see.
No.
Russia, Russia, Russia. I don't know. It won't be that this time, but it'll be
Yeah,
something.
no, but I agree with you. I think honestly, at this point, Trump needs to do his job and let his cabinet do his job. And a lot of people need to focus on midterms already,
Mhm.
right? And that's one thing that we're doing with Restore the Republic token. Here,
RTR.
we're working with students for Trump.
Yeah.
We haven't even announced this. I'll fucking announce it right now. But we're doing a joint deal with Republicans overseas, the largest Republican ballot company. They I think they brought in like 200,000 votes from U.S. citizens across Europe for this election. But we're about to announce a deal with them because, like, I was talking with them last week, and I'm like, guys, like, it's now time for midterms. Like, we got to start thinking 2 years ahead here,
Yeah.
so that we don't fuck around and lose the Senate, lose the House. Because then the last 2 years will be completely fucking worthless of the Trump administration,
Yeah.
if that happens. Completely worthless.
Well, certainly, once you get into election season, at the end, it's pretty much over and lame duck stuff. But man, it's that second half of the term that's so much more important because the first half of this presidency, they're certainly going to do nothing. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at you. Get ready, Trump. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at you. It's going to be harder for him to hit you because Elon Musk took the sink with him. He took the sink. A lot of people were using Twitter, obviously, to drag people and, all the things they were doing last time. And it's not going on this time. But, I think that, I lost my train of thought. I don't know where I was going with it.
Look, all we can do at this point is do our jobs, hope for a better future, do anything like that we can. Like you said, like it's our jobs to spread awareness. You know what I mean? It's on every U.S. citizen. If you want a better America, fucking do something about it. Say something about
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
So
I think that's it. I think people are realizing that your voices can be heard, and so on the tour spaces, Restore the Public tour spaces, all the time we have people come on and ask questions, and it is kind of a great equalizer. You get somebody who is just a normal guy living in a cubicle gets to call a crypto influencer and talk to him about whatever's going on in their life or whatever question the space is in, and that's really kind of the world. We've just seen the barriers kind of broken down between people that are celebrities, famous, and people that aren't to a certain extent, right? Like, where is the line? I always call myself, man, I'm like the most famous Beanie Baby collector at a Beanie Baby conference. That's what I've always compared myself to in crypto because, you walk in the conference and you're a big deal. And then it's a little different now. I certainly get recognized sometimes, but back then it was like there would be 4 or 5 of us little crypto influencers. We'd walk out of the conference to the next casino over and not a person knew who we were, you know? So I do think though I did just do a video. If you want to go check out a video, I did top 5 coins that may go up because Donald
all right,
Trump won.
what
Here's a
five we got?
spoiler. RTR is on that list, maybe. We'll see. But I do think what you've done here is good, and I think that obviously the Trump family is very bullish and the connection that you guys are making, and I think probably Don Jr. is going to run at some point too. So I think he would be a great president. I can't ever say enough great stuff about Don Jr. I love that guy. He's just so
Yeah.
cool. Invited me on his podcast and on his show on Rumble, and I got so much out of that. Just talking to him behind the scenes, and it just really sold me on. He's a really, really, really good dude.
Yeah, love him. What you said earlier, it's not the speed at which you
Mhm.
win, it's just that you win. I have learned a very valuable lesson with
Mhm.
this whole scenario over that because
Yeah,
believe me, I wanted to go ballistic, right?
yeah,
But I realized if you play the cards right, you play with the right people, things turn out in your favor in the end anyway.
yeah.
So I decided to take that route, and I feel like it'll be a big difference, for the next 4 years for me. But tell me this. Tell me this. Give me one piece of advice you've got for somebody getting into crypto now, new, and then what's next on your agenda for your career and the bull run for you.
Yeah. Well, I would say, look, my advice I always give to everybody is there's no shortcuts, but that's always something I say because it's so true in YouTube, and it's so true in crypto. Everybody has to get rich in crypto overnight, they lose it overnight. It's easy come, easy go in the space. You got to always remember that. But I think that a piece of advice that I would give to people right now is, with AI being so powerful, I built my own chatbot, like with Python. I developed my own chatbot, the BitBot, in a few days, because I tell you, if you were a developer, your job's gone. There's no reason. I can develop anything using AI. It's so easy. It takes a long time. It's got to be persistent, but AI is a big opportunity for people. And I think that you can learn to go farther faster, and it's frustrating. It's kind of like training somebody. It's like training an employee sometimes. Especially an assistant. You train an assistant, man, you spend a month doing way more work explaining all the stuff. But then it's like easy come, easy go, and that's how I found the AI. I think everybody should kind of look into how to use it for themselves. But uh, what I'm moving to here, and the big piece of advice I have for everyone, and really it's to answer the question of what's next for me and where I'm going is, yeah, it's a holistic approach now, guys. Crypto YouTube is dead. I don't know if you have ever tried, if you've in the last few months have tried to search Bitcoin or crypto on YouTube. You will be met with a wave of trad fi videos. You will not find crypto YouTubers at the top. I've done this test with several people several times, and not one time has there been a crypto YouTuber in the first 3 or 4 videos. Crypto is our own little niche, having our own little influencer awards. And yeah, we do have our influencer fighting. We're gonna keep doing that. But other industries don't really, they have the stock YouTuber awards. Have you ever seen that? No, like shit like that doesn't exist. Why? Because there's not really people that look at like they're stock YouTubers. It's finance. They're in finance. And if you want to make it in this space, not only as a person creating in the space, but also as a person who is absorbing content and trying to grow and educate yourself on how to invest and make money in this space, I think that the thing that I would definitely say is finance. You got to get out. We are it's not just finance, actually. Crypto was at the corner of tech and finance. It's where we were. The corner of tech and finance, and pound for pound, number one advertising market in the world. But the thing is that um, without a strong foundational understanding of finance and where now crypto fits within the larger financial system, you're going to be leaving a lot of opportunities on the table. Things like AI and man, stuff about quantum computing. Man, I tell you that quantum computing has already been around forever. People don't know it, but that is the commercialization of quantum computing. That is going. There's going to be more money made there than this is what these people do. They create $1 trillion industries. They create $1 trillion industries out of nothing. Think that's what they did with Bitcoin. They create I mean, if you count all tokenization and RWAs and stuff for the next 10 years, a $50 trillion industry out of nothing, out of some code. You know. So I think you got to have a realistic approach to what crypto is. It's part of the financial system. It's not ever going to be the financial system. It's going to be part of it. And I think that's a big lesson a lot of people are going to have to learn in this bull market.
Yep, I agree. I think the one thing that I missed out on big time was when I got into the industry, I just came in firing money, right, and trading. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's what most people do when they come in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They just want to trade and they would just want to
Mhm.
throw money at things and hope they go up. I wish that I would have spent those first few years really understanding the tech behind what I was doing because that's what you need to know. If you want to have a future in this industry, guys, you make so much more money when you're building products and you're launching projects with teams and things like that than traders do. It's not
No,
even in the same fucking
no.
realm. So learn the tech, shadow. I don't care if you have to fucking intern it. You can trade and intern at the same time. It's not going to take anything away from you. Like go to some of those teams. A lot of
Yeah.
those teams, if you have a brain on you, they'll find something for you, and you can learn. Especially I'm 42, you're 42, we're a little bit past that stage. Although we're always having to learn, especially at the speed of crypto and
Yeah.
AI now, right? Like it's on steroids. But if
Yeah.
you're in your 20s, your 30s, you should absolutely be interning as you're trading. You should be learning the fucking tech And then you start to see these little things that are going to be, okay, this might lead the next sector, right? Because there's always these rotations, right? This might lead the next one. But you'll have a better eye for it if you do understand the tech. And that's one thing that I missed out on big time in my first few years in the industry was I just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Now, to me, it's much more important as I get older and understand crypto. The tech's more important to me. Of course, look, I'm not going to say I don't want to make money. Everybody wants to make fucking money,
Right.
but you start to realize how important the tech is behind it and why crypto's here to stay and why it's going to be such a big part of the financial industry going forward.
Well, now that I'm a developer, I'm serious, bro. You should see the stuff I made. It's crazy. I made my own chatbot. It's nice. It's got like nice window, scrolling window. I can upload files. I made this thing from scratch, and it really is amazing. The one thing I would tell people, hey, you tell you if you're young, 20, 30. Look, I think people in the next 50 years are going to be living to like 300. Like, there's not going to be anybody going to hit 300 in the next few years, but they say that with technology going where it's at, there's going to be almost nothing that they can't cure and keep your body healthy for a really long time. So, y'all might be around for longer than you think. You might even be a little bit older in your 50s or 60s. Is not too old, or not too. You're not too old. Especially with AI, it cuts your learning curve down significantly. I learned more by doing development with AI in a week that I learned being around code my entire like existence on the internet, never knowing how to do it. You know?
Right. Yeah, I mean that's the lightning speed we're moving at.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, I appreciate you coming on, brother. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll talk to you again in the next day or so. Give me one thing before you go. It's BitBoy. Come on.
it's BitBoy. There you go.
I fucking love it. I love it. All right, G. I
Thank you,
appreciate
man.
you, man. Appreciate you coming on. I'll talk to you soon.
Sure thing. Thank you for having me on.
See you, buddy.